professional women's network of the Monterey Peninsula, the source of encouragement and experience you've been looking for. Visit pwnmonterey.org and join us today, because alone you are amazing, but together we are unstoppable. pwnmonterey.org.
Kick it off.
Yep, 12 o'clock. So my name is Megan. I am with the Professional Women's Network as the membership director. Our president, Teresa Ream, her birthday is tomorrow. So she's actually going out to Vegas right now. So I am filling in for her. Again, welcome to our first 2023 PWN event. I want to thank our sponsor, January sponsor, Sasha Allen with eXp Realty. And another shout out to Stephanie Shield, the CEO of Bookkeeping Central, for taking care of all of our bookkeeping needs. Lastly, another big thank you to Marlene Corpus, a new PWN member as of December with Mod Movers. Jody is super on it and getting these events out so you can mark your calendars for this next month. We have Marion. If you can please introduce the lovely Heather.
I would be happy to and honored to. Heather and I met a little over a year ago, and she has been wanting to speak to PWN, and we just thought January of 2023 would be the perfect topic to kick off the year. So Heather is a licensed CPA. She's also the mayor of Atascadero, California, which is down near the San Luis Obispo, Paso Robles area. And she personally understands the challenges of a demanding schedule, doing all that she does. She has a background in exercise physiology, coaching, and theology, and she helps smart, busy women make their health and well-being a priority. With that diverse background, she has helped thousands of women understand what keeps them stuck so they can finally reach their health and weight loss goals. Happy 2023 and welcome, Heather Moreno.
Thank you, Marion. So great to be here. I'm going to share my screen. All right. Can someone tell me, do you see my screen, like full screen, the cartoon?
Yes.
Fantastic. All right. So I love starting out with this cartoon because it pokes fun at a simple truth. And that is that when it comes to optimizing our health and well-being, most of the time we know what to do. What today is about is understanding why we don't do it, or worse, we should do the opposite and then end up sabotaging ourselves. So welcome to Rewire Your Brain to finally make healthy habits stick here in 2023. As I begin, I want you to think about how often you skip a workout or lunch, maybe short yourself on sleep or cheat yourself out of some family time, all for the sake of work. Say in the past month. How about the past week? How often does that happen? The thing is, in a professional's life, when we're owning a business, we're working, that often takes the priority. And I heard a lot of you talking about wanting balance. And so I love that you're thinking about that, because health and wellness, it often takes a back seat if it gets a seat at all. But we know that for ultimate success, we need to bring it to the forefront. But the question often is, how do we fit it all in? So here's what we're going to cover today. First of all, I'm going to talk about the bold move you've got to make to reach any goal, so it even extends beyond health and wellness. Then we'll talk about how to make it a priority, even when it feels like your life is really busy. And then I'm going to take you through a health habits assessment so that you know how to reach your goals no matter what's coming at you. I've got a handout for you. If you saw that in the chat, hopefully you can all grab a copy of that. So either print it out or, just look at it and have some paper to write on, because I want us to kind of have a little bit of I want this to be a little more workshop-y than just me talking. So go ahead and have that available. I want us to be interactive, and hopefully we'll have a little bit of the time at the end too for some Q&A. And just to make it a little fun, I'll give out a prize along the way. So what I want to know from you is, why is this topic important to you? So what I want you to do is I want you to put in the chat A, B, or C. A is, I have a hard time getting started. B would be, I want to be more consistent. And C would be, you know what, I just feel like I can up my game a bit. So A, getting started. B, more consistency. 3, up your game. where we are here. A, B, and C, Marian. You're so funny. All right. So B, C. We've got, okay, a lot of C's. So a lot of you are looking to up your game. Fantastic. Couple of B's. Anyone else there? All right. Fantastic. So what I want you to do is set your intention for the next 40 minutes based upon your answer. And every aspect of what I'm talking about today is precisely what I have spent years learning, tweaking, honing, and applying to myself to be in great shape and really good health and strong for everything that I want to accomplish in life. And so a little bit about me. I know this is hard to believe, but I'm not a health fanatic. This is my profession, but it doesn't come to me naturally. So as Marian said, like between running my business, serving as mayor, keeping my CPA license current, running a household, all of those things, I have a lot of responsibilities, just like I'm assuming all of you do. And if I'm not paying attention, it is easy to make poor food choices, to not get my needs met, and to basically not take great care of myself. The thing is, I have learned how not to let these be the drivers of my life, and they don't sidetrack me from my health and well-being. And if I can do it, anyone can do it. And so those are the kind of things that we're going to talk about this afternoon. Now, my specialty is helping women over 50 change their habits in order to lose weight and keep it off. What we're talking about here today is the broader topic of health and well-being. And what I've found is the processes and strategies that I teach as it applies to behavior change can be applied to any area of life where you want to make a significant shift. So in the 1990s, I worked as a CPA for KPMG, and I left the firm in 1996 to become a personal trainer, as one does as a CPA. And I thought that this passion I had for helping everybody be healthy and fit, along with certification, education, all of that would make all of my clients healthy and fit and successful. It doesn't work like that. What I discovered is that there were some clients who took everything that I taught, they applied it, got great results, but others didn't. What was the difference? I came to realize that a big reason why some clients were unsuccessful is because both of us were focusing on their behavior rather than what caused their behavior. And that's what led me to develop my 5-step process that I work with clients on today. And this is things that my clients are able to implement so that they achieve their health and their weight loss goals permanently. And I'm going to share pieces of this with you today. And from all of these things, there are 3 things that I know for sure. Number 1, as I said a moment ago, if I can do it, anyone can do it. Anyone can have the health and body they want. Number 2, to achieve the results you want, you must retrain your brain. And lastly, when you retrain your brain, follow through can be so much easier. You stop reading like every book or article that promises to be the answer, and you reduce overwhelm from looking out there for what to do, and then really customize something that's going to work for you. So what is the bold move you need to be willing to make? It's asking this one question, because you're going to leave today with some strategies and some ideas, but we got to start by looking at what could hold you back. And so I want you to ask yourself a simple question, and that's this. Am I willing to start imperfect? I want you to think about what that means for you, because what I find is many women I talk to are saying things like, as soon as, then I'll. So something like, as soon as my in-laws go back home, then I'll start eating healthy again. So what I want you to know is there is no right time. Did you hear me? Let me repeat that because this is very important. There is no right time. There's always something. Someone's always sick. You've got a big project, or you simply don't feel like doing all the things. But what happens, my clients tell me that when they wait for the right time, it gives them an excuse to justify a bad decision in the moment. Say, eating a donut in the break room, working late and not getting home for family dinner, or pressing the snooze alarm. Because we justify this because as soon as things are back to normal, then they'll start eating the healthy breakfast and, get up before the alarm goes off and get home at a good time. But the longer we wait, the harder it gets. And when we're honest, the idea of a normal is somewhat of a fantasy. So whether it's hard to get motivated, and I think only one of you chose all 3. A lot of you said you wanted to up your game. Some of you said you wanted to be more consistent. Wherever it is in there, I want you to simply ask yourself, what do I need to change to get started now? What do I need to change to get started now? So what is the first thing that comes to mind for you? And go ahead and write that down. And then take that home with you and mull it over. What will it take? And are you willing to take that first step? Now, let's start talking about making healthy habits stick. Okay, using your handout or any piece of paper, I want you to take a moment and brainstorm at least 10 healthy habits, or up to 10 healthy habits, let's say, that you know would help you reach and maintain the levels of health and well-being that you want. And I'm going to give you about a minute here because this is important. I want you to come up with a lot of ideas. This can be stress reduction, hydration, nutrition, downtime, sleep, exercise, other movement, anything in there. Come up with all the ideas, just jot them all down. And when you get only 4 written down and say, I don't know anymore, yes, you do. Keep writing. Trust me, I know you do. What are all the things? Imagine you're at that place where you're doing all of it. What does it look like? All right, another 20 seconds or so. All right, write one more down. All right, everybody have a good list. Now here's what I want you to do. I want you to circle the ones that you've implemented in the last week. Tell me in the chat box, what do you notice from this? Or if you want to take yourself off mute, shout it out. What are you noticing?
I noticed that all the things I wrote down are the things that I'm not doing.
Yeah.
So I don't have any that I did this week of this list.
Okay. Thank you for being honest and sharing that. Yeah.
I've already made a really huge leap. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 items down, and I have circled 6 of them already.
All right. So 6 out of 8. Great. So we're oh, go ahead.
I was going to say the one that I've gained a lot of weight in just the last couple of months because I'm a single woman and I live by myself and I can always choose whatever I want to eat. But now that I'm in a relationship with someone and we're cooking meals together and he eats like a 19-year-old boy, he wants to eat bacon and all this stuff. And I just kind of go along with it to make it easy. And so lately I've been more assertive, like, no, I can't eat that. You'd be surprised how challenging that is, to have to,
so we're going to
accommodate someone else. Yeah.
Yeah. We're going to get to some of that in just one moment. So what I'm seeing here from what you've told me, a variety of you, some haven't started anything. Of course, Krista is like, woohoo, 6 out of 8. She's rocking it. And then, Elizabeth, you notice you're doing some of the things. What is the minimum? What could you do to really shift things? I love that you're asking that. Tracy, like you and Krista are opposites. And then, Beth, you shared too that, it's challenging. So here's what I want to tell you is that we clearly know the things to do, right? You notice like you had a long list. You didn't sit there and go, I have no idea. You know the things to do. There's no shortage of ideas, but simply knowing doesn't mean that we necessarily do it. There's all sorts of reasons why, we don't do it. And what do you think is getting in the way? Would it surprise you to know that it's your brain? I'll tell you what that looks like, what I'm talking about. This is the neurological pathway. It is the way that we're wired, and it is the kind of the basis of all habits that we create. If you get off track, this is where you want to come back. So I'm going to kind of work us backward and then forward. So think of a result. Somebody tends to come to me because they have a result that they don't want. Usually they're carrying more weight than they want. And what they do is they back it up and they say, okay, what's the behavior that got me this result? And how do I have to change the behavior to get a different result? So they start, diet, exercise, and all the different things, probably a lot of the things that are on your list. But the problem is when we just stick at this superficial level of behavior, we never really get the result we want long-term. So we have to be a little more, we have to dive a little bit deeper. And we have to look and see that, okay, all of our behavior is driven by our feelings. How we're feeling in the moment drives what we do or what we don't do. And then backing that up further, what creates how we feel is what we happen to be thinking in any given moment, right? This is the way we're wired. So kind of just write that down so you have it. Think about it. Behind every result is a behavior. Like we can get that. Behind every behavior is a feeling. This is where somebody might recognize that she's eating emotionally. We're probably all familiar with that concept. But we've got to go back a little further and know that behind every feeling is a thought that we're having. And I know that's odd to think about, because sometimes we think like our feelings just come over us and we really can't help it. But consider that if you're feeling sad, it's because you're thinking something sad. Same with happy, shame, regret. We can trace them all back to thoughts. Okay. And so when we think about we're thinking something, we feel a certain way, it creates a certain behavior that gives us a result, and that result ends up proving to us the thought that we have. Right? So it's sort of like a self-fulfilling prophecy. So how we spend our time, the habits we create, the information we put into action or not, it's a reflection first of our thoughts. We don't say or do anything that we haven't thought of first. And this really is a lifetime pursuit. It's something that you apply to one thing and then to the next and the next. It's continual growth. So I want you to ask yourself, we're going to do a little bit of an exercise together. Ask yourself, how do you stay in charge of your mindset so that it helps you rather than hinders you as you pursue your healthy lifestyle? What I want to know from you now is, what thoughts sabotage you? These are the thoughts that you would say have you not following through, that have you doing what you might say is the wrong thing versus the right thing. I don't love that languaging, but that's what our brains offer us. So this is where I want you to start. Like the mindset of I always fail or I don't have time. Could that disrupt everything? Of course it could. So what are some of the thoughts? Go ahead and shout them out. What's a thought that you have?
Something I need to do more of.
Bringing that up. Because and it's not that hopeless is the only thing that Beth feels, and when you're feeling something, it doesn't mean that's the only thing you're feeling. But when this is a thought of like nothing works, and it's something I hear a lot of, that's why I snagged that one, because I know it's not uncommon. That does lead to feeling hopeless. So when that thought is the one that's kind of just keeps coming back, and we can see all the things that Beth does or doesn't do, what is the result? We make it impossible. In this result, Beth makes it impossible for anything to work. I don't even know if you can see this now. So we think that it's just simply the goal that we have that makes us feel hopeless, but it's when we're thinking nothing works. We feel hopeless. We drink the wine. We don't exercise. We feel sorry for ourselves. We're looking at our measurements and doing all of that. We're watching TV. We don't focus on the good things and the good health that we have. And then we make it impossible for anything to work. Okay. So I wanted to show you briefly how that neurological pathway works. It's important for us to know that. And again, this is continual growth. You notice it and you're like, oh, okay, I noticed that when I'm thinking nothing works, this is what happens. Maybe that's not true, right? And you have the opportunity to start breaking out of it. Beth, thank you so much. I really appreciate your willingness to pipe in with us here. So let me come back and share my screen. All right. Can you tell me if you still see the neurological pathway up there?
Yes.
All right, great. So like I said, this is continual growth, and I'm going to show you how this works in real life. Oh, we already did the what thoughts sabotage you. So I wanted to introduce you to Teresa. When we met, she was experiencing a lot of stress at work. She was eating is what she did to feel better, distract from the day's troubles. And she really had a hard time sticking with any kind of exercise. And over the years, she was a perpetual points counter. She's always trying to drop some excess weight, but never following through for long. What we did is the exercise that we just did. Now, there were other pieces involved. After we uncovered her go-to sabotaging thoughts, we developed strategies to prevent those attitudes from derailing her so that she could stay on track and really stay consistent, even when stressful situations would arise. And what happened is she learned to notice those situations right away. And then she could continue, refocus, stay on track, so that today she exercises regularly and she's no longer counting points or calories, and she's eating healthfully and feeling really good. So for her, what she's really learned that even during times of high stress, she continues with her healthy habits. And 2 years later, she knows that she can keep it up no matter what. So as I'm thinking about habits and strategies, what I want to do is I want to send you something, a really cool tool that a lot of people find helpful. And I don't have it on me. It's in another system. So do this. Go ahead and email me at, I'm going to put my email in here. Email me at heather@heathermoreno.com and put the word, put the word smile in the subject line, and I will get that to you by tomorrow. And then why don't I pick a winner from that at the end today? So go ahead and email me smile and I'll get that over to you. All right, so let's do that habit assessment that I talked about. You're going to, whatever your goals are, you need to consistently engage in the right habits, right? We know that. And we don't want to be looking at the latest thing, like what's our coworker doing or what does this health report say, but really be able to hone in on something that works right for you. So I'm going to show you long-term what helps you consistently stick with healthy habits and to reach those goals that are important to you in 2023. And this will really help you uncover clues as to where you need to focus next. So in each area that I go through, I want you to just say, yay or nay, do I have it or not? So the first step is uncover. And uncover is what we just did. This is uncovering the belief systems, because these are the things that are running the show, right? Just like you learned with the neurological pathway. So you've got to ask yourself things like, what is the story you're telling yourself about why you can or can't follow through? What do you believe is possible for you to achieve based on what you've done in the past? Do you believe that affects you? What do you believe about your abilities to achieve your goals? What do you believe about taking care of yourself or taking care of your business versus taking care of others? What do you think about all of that? Now, if you have the uncover piece handled, then you probably take action towards your goals without making excuses for not following through. But if you keep kind of snapping back to doing the same thing you've always done, or you take like an all or nothing approach, then it can be time to uncover what's running the show. So just yes or no, do you have that piece handled for uncover? The next is clarify. And life comes at us fast, as we've seen the last 3 years, if not before. So if we don't dive deeply into what's really important to us and we just run on, I should be doing this, or my doctor said, it's not going to stick. So it's got to be important enough to make sure that nothing else can shake you. Now, I'm going to say something that I know tends to be unpopular. It seems like for many years, I've been encouraged, and people say, oh, you shouldn't focus on losing weight or care about how our bodies look. It should all be for a higher purpose, like preventing type 2 diabetes that runs in the family, or like being an example for my daughter. Now, those are wonderful things. And if they're true for you, then fantastic. But I want to encourage you, if you want to look great in your clothes, if you want to look hot in a dress, taking these words directly from the mouths of clients, then you've got to own it. Even if you think you're going to be judged for it, or heaven forbid, it's shallow, own your true motivation. And when you're in alignment with Clarify, you're going to feel more naturally motivated. It's going to feel easier to follow through. You'll know that you have some work to do in that area, because often you might feel guilty for what you're doing or not doing, or you're somewhat ambivalent about follow through. So yes or no, have you clarified your deep internal motivation? Now we're on to transform. This is where you take your power back. This is where you have authority over your thought patterns, even when you get emotional or you're having a bad day. This is the turning point, because it's what keeps you consistently taking the actions that you need and want to take. If you're doing this, then you're not in that space of always negotiating all the time. You just find it simple to keep commitments to yourself and stay on track. So yes or no, you have that transform piece handled. And at the tail end of this, I'm going to take us through a very powerful narrative change. So stay tuned for that. Now, the next one is plan. And this is where people tend to be most comfortable. they get excited about, like, oh, I buy this and I have this app and I'm doing this, and we know all of this. But what tends to happen is people can miss, when they create their plan, of seeing like what is appropriate for you and at this time in your life. One piece of planning that I think is very important is intentional eating. So I'm going to share with you a quick story, something that happened to me many years ago. I have a home-based office. So here I am, 3 o'clock on a Friday afternoon, and I'm foraging through the kitchen cabinets looking for something to eat. And it dawns on me, I'm not hungry. Like, how do I feel? What do I need? Going through that process. And what I realized was I was tired. And I thought about it. I had been at a networking meeting and got home after 10 p.m. the previous day. And that morning I had been up and at a meeting at 7. And it was in Pasadena, and I lived in Huntington Beach, if you know the distance. It was a good, 45-minute to an hour drive. I didn't have enough sleep. I was tired. Food was not going to help that. Now, what did I need? I needed a nap. How many of you can just go nap in the middle of the workday? Most of us. Some can, fantastic. I had clients, so I wasn't going to call them and say, I'm going to go nap. So I didn't do that. But what I could do was get outside, get some movement, get some fresh air. More importantly, I figured out why I was tired, because food was not going to solve that problem, and realized that I needed to change something moving forward. So intentional eating, yes, nap when scheduled. Intentional eating, very important. So if you have a strong, robust plan in place, you know what to do. It's getting you results. There's no ambiguity. If your plan isn't solid, you'll notice it's not delivering the results that you want. You either keep doing the same thing, hoping for a better result, or you're kind of like Whole30 1 month, CrossFit the next, and never settling into a groove that's personalized or consistent for you. So yes or no, do you have a plan in place that gets you the result you want? And lastly, execute. We might call this like consistent implementation. This is really where we start the whole conversation. A lot of you talked about B, right? Consistency is how do we keep our healthy habits? How do we stick with it? Because we can be comfortable with tactics and strategies. You might get a new wearable, right? I love those wearables. A meal planner, download some cool app, but it's continuing even when you don't feel like it, continuing when you need to adjust because of weather, your schedule, travel, or heck, all of us the last 3 years for a pandemic. So yes or no, are you executing on your plan consistently? So here's the thing, you've got this assessment and it gives you some clues as to what you're doing well and where you need some attention. So anything you haven't marked off as an I got it, clearly an opportunity to focus on so you can get a better result. The ones you do have, like give yourself a high five for that. I think that's important, celebrate. And hold on, because we're going to create some actions in just a moment. So what have you gained by clarifying this? Most people find that in a busy life where they have good intentions, but they get off track, is that they don't even know where to start. And just by taking this time that you might never give yourself to reflect, you can get clear on your starting point. And then once you do that, you can dive more deeply into the areas that you see are holding you back, even with the very best of intentions. And I'm going to show you how this worked for Jennifer. I love that picture of her. She ran a very successful business and it took a lot of her time and energy. She hated exercise. She told me she would only do it if she hired a personal trainer to be with her and make her do it. She ate mindlessly, craved sweets a lot. And she told me that in her early 60s, she was really uncomfortable in her clothes and felt, in her words, like a plump old lady. And so Jennifer committed to doing that deeper work, not just hiring a trainer or counting calories, because she had tried that and it wasn't working. And so she went all in and she uncovered why she was eating the way she was eating. She learned how to self-motivate so that she's incredibly active and finally feels comfortable in her body. And so in doing that deeper work, Jennifer has created a sustainable, healthy lifestyle that she truly enjoys without the ups and downs that she used to have. And she's maintained it for more than 3 years now. So what I want to talk to you about is implementing for you. So let's start here. I want you to look over all your notes. And I want you to identify 3 small steps that you could take that would make a difference. And I'm going to give you a minute to do this. Look over your notes and identify 3 things. Make sure that they are, when you look at it, you know exactly what you're going to do and your brain thinks it's doable. So you wouldn't put, I'm going to stop procrastinating. Like, what on earth? What does that mean? It might be that you've been procrastinating in making a phone call. You could take an action of making a phone call. Don't just say exercise more. What does that mean? Be specific with it. So 3 small steps that you're willing to take. Take another 15, 20 seconds to write down 3 small steps for yourself that you're willing to commit to and do really like over this next week. Okay. Awesome. All right. So now what we want to do is I want to go over a little bit of that clarify process. I want to like do a little bit of that visioning to get those creative centers on board and working for you. So I want you to take your hands off the keyboard, pens and pencils down, all of that, and sit back, take a deep breath, close your eyes for a moment, not taking a nap, just closing the eyes. And I want you to imagine, what would it be like to follow through with the habits and the practices that have you feeling healthy, amazing, and strong every single day? Being comfortable and confident in your body, feeling great, having more energy to devote to anything that you want to do. And imagine that because you're taking care of your health easily, gladly, you fit comfortably into your clothes, you even feel a little sexy maybe. You exercise in a way you love. You eat nutritious foods without ever feeling deprived. Your entire lifestyle is in alignment with what you want for yourself, for your family, and for your career. And you do it with confidence, with consistency, and with ease. Now take another deep breath and open your eyes. And is this a vision you can get behind? Yeah. Well, what's the problem? The problem is you're a busy person. So even your best of intentions can go out the window in the midst of a busy day. So when you think about all that you need to do and all that you want to do when it comes to your health and well-being, who do you have in your corner right now who's already accomplished what you want to accomplish and who's there to help you when you need it most? Now, some of you have the support you need, but for those of you who don't, I invite you to consider scheduling a call to explore the possibility of working together. Now, the call is a great option for you if you are ready to make it a priority. Maybe you've committed to change in the past, but you have a hard time sticking with it. Or possibly a doctor has warned of serious health consequences if nothing changes. The calls are complimentary and they're reserved for people who are willing to get unstuck and create the healthy lifestyle that you really want. You're willing to invest in yourself and you're willing to work. And if it sounds like you on the call, I'll walk you through a process to get clear about what it is that you want. And we'll take a look at what's sabotaging you from reaching your goals. And I take this time with you personally because working together is an investment. And I want both of us to be 100% confident that I'm the right fit for you. So what you would do is simply go to talkwithheather.com. Don't you love that URL? I do. So talkwithheather.com. And you might be writing it down and thinking, I'm going to get to that later. And the thing is, I know it's easy for things to get lost in the shuffle of a busy day. Me? Anyone else? That happens. So even with the best of intentions, what I'm going to recommend is, even if you're just thinking about it, you're just curious about it, either on your desktop or get out your phone and put the URL into your browser right now. And so even if you're just curious about it, you'll have it for later. And then when you do follow through later today, I have a nice bonus that I'm going to send to you to start supporting you right away. So now I'm going to select a winner from anyone who, all right, I've got all your emails here. So I'm going to just, Julianne. Yay. All right, Julianne, I am going to reach out to you and send you a specially curated tea from Harney & Sons. So, and if you don't like tea, I'll send you a Starbucks card, but I always like the Harney & Sons because it's kind of fun.
No, I love tea. Thank you.
Excellent. Oh, good, good. All right, this is what I'm going to close us out with here. It's a mindset shift that if you really embrace can be so incredibly powerful. And I want you to write this down. You deserve better. Actually, write it down in the first person. I deserve better. And here's what it means. It has everything to do with keeping commitments to yourself. So I want you to imagine you're walking in the door after a long day, or you're shutting the door to your office and going out into the living area, and you're tired and you're just ready to relax. And as you change into your comfy clothes, your mind starts to wander and you might think, oh, I deserve a glass of wine, or maybe to veg out a little bit in front of the TV, or maybe a cookie. Now, nothing wrong with drinking a glass of wine, watching a little TV, enjoying a cookie. The problem is when it turns into a bottle of wine, binge watching Stranger Things or a sleeve of Thin Mints. What we really deserve is so much more than what we settle for. I'll say that again, because if you take only one thing from this afternoon, this is it. You deserve so much more than what you settle for. And when you embrace this mindset shift, you start to recognize what you need to take care of yourself, to really treat yourself well. You notice what's important to spend your time on. You identify what recovery time, what downtime, what all of that looks like when you're living in integrity with your values. And you find ways to genuinely treat yourself that feel good, not just in the moment, but also the next morning. So I hope that today I have inspired you to not only see the next level of what's possible for your health and well-being, but help to give you some tools to make that next level a reality. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you.
Thank you for participating.
It sounds like we're all going to get busy retraining our brains, right?
Good.
Thank you so much. And we'll throw it back over to Megan.
Okay. Well, awesome. Well, thank you so much for being here, ladies. And hopefully we will see you out in Santa Cruz January 31st. But we ended a little bit early, so you're more than welcome to stay on. But until next time. Bye.
Bye.